A very good evening to you all. Welcome to English News Bulletin here in Rwanda Television. We are glad that you could join us. We'll begin with the headlines. President Paul Kagame has met with President Tharman Shanmugaratnam of Singapore, and the two leaders discussed key areas of cooperation in trade, investment, financial technology, as well as concrete steps towards fostering private sector ties between the two nations. The Office of the Ombudsman reaffirmed its vision for Rwanda to be among the top 5 nations globally free of corruption and injustice by 2050. I'm Olive Nete, and it's always a pleasure to have you with us. Now let's take a look at the news in details. President Paul Kagame has met with President Tharman Shanmugaratnam of Singapore. The two leaders discussed key areas of cooperation in trade, investment, financial technology, as well as concrete steps towards fostering private sector ties between the two nations. President Kagame later held a meeting with Singapore Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Lawrence Wong. They renewed their commitment to strong bilateral partnership and exchanged on shared values of good governance and leadership aimed at transforming lives of citizens. The two leaders also welcomed the signing of a renegotiated double taxation avoidance agreement, which will help boost investment opportunities between the two countries. At the Istana in Singapore, President Kagame attended a luncheon hosted by Senior Minister Lee Hsien Loong. They exchanged on various issues, including global affairs and the impact of technology on development. They also discussed the productive economic partnership and the resulting tangible benefits for the people of Rwanda and Singapore. Moving ahead, the Prime Minister, Dr. Edouard Ngirente, highlighted that graduates from the Rwanda Institute for Conservation Agriculture are well equipped with the knowledge and skills necessary to advance agriculture in the country. He reaffirmed this commitment during the Institute's second graduation ceremony, where 81 students received their degrees. We have details. 44 women and 37 men graduated from the Rwanda Institute for Conservation Agriculture, which focuses on training professionals in sustainable farming, food security and climate resilience. The diverse cohort included students from various specializations, 13 in animal production systems, 26 in crop production systems, 22 in food processing systems, and 20 in irrigation and mechanization systems.
I feel so honored and excited to be at this graduation ceremony of RICA because RICA is a world-class institution. The RICA helps students to leverage African agricultural problems so that we can provide a friendly and in the context of agriculture of Africa solution which will help smallholder farmers mostly in Africa, because Africa has smallholder farmer which is their main target, and if they if they get elevated, that means that even the African continent will be elevated because most of the people involved in agriculture sector in Africa.
What I would say is that if you're here and you're a young lady, just feel free, just be open, just know that you can do it. Don't think like farmers is for the poor, is for the what. No, farmers is for those people with a good mind. And if we do this, we achieve it. So come here, come and join us, the farmers. We have to develop our country. And without farmers, there is no food. So what we eat is from our sweat. So come and join us. If you're a girl here, RIC is the right place.
According to the irrigation master plan, we've seen that the irrigation system in Rwanda is only at 10% of the capacity that we can achieve. So there's still a big gap that we can be able to fill. With the skills of students from RICA, where we learn by experiential learning, that means that when you go to class, you learn about the theory of things, and then at the end you go into the field and practice what you have learned. So I believe with those skills and the high-level education you've got from lecturers from different parts of the world, we'll be able to bring our expertise on the field, help farmers through extension, to teach them our knowledge and allow them to maximize their yield.
Parents were content with the progress their children have made and are optimistic about the contributions they will make to enhance agriculture and livestock production for the country's development.
We received this with so much joy. joy to the family, but also to the country at large. Since with this knowledge, they will contribute to the development of the country.
RICA's Vice Chancellor, Ron Rosati, emphasizes that the school offers a distinctive approach to education.
The new institution has a special model of education. So our students spend about half of their time actually practicing agriculture. So they don't just sit in a classroom and learn theory. They actually get involved in operating farms and learning the practical side of livestock production, crop production, agricultural economics, how to get engaged in profitable agriculture. So when they graduate, they're very skilled at actually engaging in agriculture and leading businesses in agriculture.
The Prime Minister, Dr. Edouard Ngirente, emphasized the importance of graduates from the Rwanda Institute for Conservation Agriculture in encouraging young people to engage in agriculture, a sector dominated by an aging population. He stressed the need for RICA to uphold its reputation for excellence.
In this context, the establishment of RICA to train professionals who can implement sustainable farming practices, improve food security, and climate resilience is commendable. The second graduation of RICA is a proof that Rwanda will not only address the issue of lack of knowledge and skills among farmers, but also improve farming techniques and ultimately leading to greater food security. On a continent facing the challenges of an aging farming population, RICA serves as a symbol of hope, inspiring youth to pursue careers in agriculture. It is important that RICA continues to maintain its reputation as an institute of excellence, attracting outstanding students through transparent selection processes and providing exceptional training.
This marks the second graduation of the Rwanda Institute for Conservation Agriculture since its establishment in 2019. Last year, 75 students graduated, with 93% now leading agriculture and livestock projects across the country, while the remaining graduates pursued further studies. Tomorrow news, a total of 27 cyclists participating in the 7th edition of the Great African Cycling Safari were flagged off to Tanzania today at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. William Evans Mutawazi has more on this.
The Great African Cycling Safari, GACS for short, is an annual bicycle tour to showcase the East African community in all its beauty, multiplicity, and reflecting the cultural diversity of the people living in the East African region. For the 7th edition, the tour began in Bujumbura, Burundi on the 1st August with 40 cyclists from all East African pattern states. Director General of the African Department at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Cooperation Rwanda, Ms. Gisa Teta, applauded the team for their dedication, saying that their participation is vital in raising more awareness about East African programs and culture, and invited them to explore more of Rwanda's offerings on their next visit.
Your participation is vital in raising awareness about the East African community programs and activities, which are essential for fostering regional integration, peace, and unity across East Africa. On your next visit to Rwanda, I encourage you to explore more of the country's offerings, including our game parks, historical sites, and environmental projects dedicated to mitigating climate change. In closing, I would like to once again thank you for your unwavering commitment, and I wish you a successful journey to the Republic of Burundi. Thank you.
The theme for this year's tour is furthering campaigns to promote food security, peace, and climate mitigation. Mr. John Balongo, who is the team leader, said that as they ride across East Africa, they are very much dedicated to advancing the goals of East African community agenda through their cycling events and initiatives.
We are preaching peace, and we are preaching togetherness. We need to create a big market for East Africa for our products. We are talking to different people about the importance. If we can all agree and say we are one people and one destiny. We have one team and one dream. Then we think that will be okay. So we sacrifice ourselves, carry these flags, ride all these distances. The biggest challenge is, of course, support. We need big support to put up this event.
Mugabe Brian, a first-time participant from Uganda, appealed to youth, especially those living with disabilities, to be courageous enough to join such sports initiatives and stop feeling left out.
I used to ask myself, why are Rwandanese people with disability not on this tour? Why on Tanzanian people with disability are not on the tour? I used to ask myself, I always ask myself, why? Join sports. You'll see your life going better. And for me, I can spend 2 years without getting sick.
Youths from across the East African Community Partner States joined this cycling event to take the East African community integration process from the level of abstract policy making in government offices to the people at the grassroots level to show that integration is alive and beneficial to all citizens. The grand finale of this tour will take place in Bujumbura after a 57-day, 6,470-kilometer journey. William Evans, Mutawazi, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, William, for the details. Now to health matters. On September 19, the Ministry of Health launched an mpox vaccination campaign targeting high-risk groups, including health workers, cross-border business operators, and hospitality workers. This initiative is part of Rwanda's ongoing efforts to strengthen mpox preparedness and response. According to the Rwanda Biomedical Center, mpox re-emerged globally in 2022, and since 2023, neighboring countries have reported cases. Rwanda confirmed its first mpox case in July, with most patients recovering and no deaths recorded. In an interview with Julien Mahoroni-Ingabira, Health Communications Division Manager at the Ministry of Health, he highlighted the significance of the vaccination campaign, which began on Thursday. He also urged the public to adhere to established health guidelines to help curb the spread of the mpox. Take a look.
We identified 6 cases in total since July 27th. 4 of those 6 cases have been discharged from the hospitals where they were being followed up on. Now we have 2 cases under medical surveillance. They're doing okay, they're doing fine. But in total, this is the number of people we have confirmed to have mpox in Rwanda. So we are continuing providing awareness messages, urging people to take precautions against mpox. And one interesting juncture that has happened in the course of the last weeks was the reopening of schools. We have extended awareness messages throughout all the schools in Rwanda, be it secondary schools, primaries, and some other public spaces. Our messages are built on 2 main pillars: the symptoms, so because we want people to recognize symptoms and report them, and prevention methods, because we want people to know what to do once they observe those symptoms. So we will continue to provide those messages, to conduct awareness campaigns, including media-based, and also working with other organizations like faith-based organizations and private sector and public sector, to make sure that everyone has the awareness message reaches everyone. We have started vaccination, mpox vaccination, early this week, and we were targeting very specified groups, high-risk groups. Those include people operating trans-border businesses, people working in health facilities, healthcare workers, and people working in accommodation and hospitality sector. The progress is really a good thing to observe because we are conducting the vaccinations on the health centers, and today we have introduced a new way of facilitating people to access to the vaccine by using mobile clinics. So we have already very good results in this effort, but we would like to encourage people to keep taking precautions against Mpox, because vaccination so far is for a limited number of group. It's not for a general purpose so far. We have enough vaccines now to conduct 10,000 vaccination. Should there be a need of increasing the number of people to get the vaccine, we will get more vaccines. But it should not be understood that the reason why we specified on the groups to be vaccinated is because we did not have enough vaccines. No. Should there be a need of conducting more vaccinations, we will mobilize for more vaccinations and we'll conduct the campaign successfully. We would like to keep reminding to the general public that Mpox is a disease which is contracted through close contact. And one of the things that we would like to highlight on, we always highlight on, is that the disease is contracted through sexual intercourse. So yes, we have seen that people have started implementing hand washing strategies out there with public spaces, but we want everyone to keep in mind that this is a sexually transmitted disease, and condoms do not protect you because there's the sexual intercourse happens in a such defined context that bodies can still be in contact. So people need to know that condoms don't protect from catching the virus. So please avoid sexual intercourse, avoid close contact with someone exhibiting symptoms of Mpox.
To more news, Rwandan parliamentarians, part of the East African Legislative Assembly's Committee on Foreign Affairs and Conflict Resolution, have held discussions with officials at the National Police College in Musanze district. The discussions focused on the academy's contributions to fighting cross-border crimes in the region as well as tensions.
What does it really gear that this objective of having centers of excellence? One, Rwanda is really very performing when we talk of the college of excellence on staff, command, and courses or junior. Really, this element is only, I would say, appearing here in Rwanda. That is one. Second, when you see the level on which Rwanda is managing all these centers of excellence, it is on top. It is a high level, let's say, management and engagement and commitment by Rwanda. So we thank the government of Rwanda, bearing in mind that the 6th meeting of the Sector Council on Peace and Security for the interstate chief of police and organs, they have selected indeed and given this mission to Rwanda of being centers of excellency. So that's very important to know. And it was in 2014, on 28th of March 2014, and it was held in Mombasa, in Nairobi, and it was under the recommendations of the chiefs of police. So we really appreciate what is being done. One, it's a gest and a signal and a wake up to even our partner states, because it's about commitment, self-reliance, engagement, dedication, and all of these elements are key to achieve what you want and where you want to go.
To more news, on Friday, the Office of the Ombudsman reaffirmed its vision for Rwanda to be among the top 5 nations globally free of corruption and injustice by 2050. This commitment was highlighted during the training sessions for members of anti-corruption committees from various institutions and organizations nationwide. We have details. Of anti-corruption committees from various institutions and organizations across the country gathered in Kigali for a training session aimed at reinforcing their responsibilities. These include preventing corruption and injustice, as well as identifying any signs or loopholes within institutions that may indicate corrupt practices. The strategies I learned from this training, which I plan to implement in our institution, involve identifying the loopholes within the NSST and developing solutions to address these gaps. I believe this approach will greatly benefit not only our institution, but also the country as a whole.
The first priority is prevention, stopping corruption from occurring or spreading in our workplaces. Once people become aware of existing gaps, they can monitor and assess whether any form of corruption is present in their institutions. When these gaps are identified, it becomes easier to report those involved in corrupt activities to the relevant authorities.
The Deputy Ombudsman in charge of preventing and fighting corruption, Honorable Mukama Abbas, emphasized that such campaigns are key tools in the ongoing battle against corruption. He noted that the ultimate goal is for Rwanda to remain among the top corruption-free countries globally.
In East Africa, we have held the top position in the fight against corruption for the past 5 years. In Africa, we rank 4th out of the 53 countries on the continent, and globally, we are 49th with a score of 53%. However, this is not where we aim to be. Under Vision 2050, our goal is to reach at least the top 5 globally. While we may not see this ourselves as we grow older, the younger generation will play a key role in making it happen. In Rwanda, everything is possible, which is why we established anti-corruption committees to ensure this goal is achieved. Every Rwandan has a responsibility to contribute to this mission.
Various global reports indicate that corruption and injustice in Rwanda have decreased at a commendable rate, though significant challenges remain. These reports frequently highlight instances where local authorities, the prosecution, education institution and private sector are either implicated in or accused of accepting bribes, whether in the form of money, gender-based favors, favoritism, or personal benefits. The story brings us to the end of tonight's bulletin. Thank you for tuning in to today's broadcast, and on behalf of the technical and news production team, have a restful weekend.